Today on the Riff, Jeremy sits down with Whitney Vowell. Whitney leads all things worship and connections at the Republic campus and is a longtime part of the Riff Raft. She gets to talk about her story, how she got to North Point, and even names her favorite staffer. Spoiler alert, Jeremy came in at second place. We hope today is helpful. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to another episode of The Riff. And I got to tell you, I've been waiting all weekend for this podcast to drop because I have my friend, potentially your friend, Whitney Vowell in the house. Whitney.
Hello.
A pleasure for you to be on, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
It's also a pleasure to have you. Now, I hear you are a longtime Riff Raff
I am.
member. Yeah?
I have been kind of waiting for this day.
This is your first time.
I was hoping it would happen, but I wasn't sure. And it happened, and I'm very excited.
So it wasn't awkward, but I texted you or pinged you in our base camp. Shout out to Jason Freed if you're listening. He's the one that owns base camp. But I pinged you yesterday.
Yes.
And said, you won't believe it, but I happen to have an opening tomorrow on our recording. And it was almost awkward how quick you accepted. Like you've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was ready.
I'm excited. Well, good to have you. So tell us a little bit about your connection here at North Point, what you do at North Point, and then I'm going to go way back, and we're going to get the life and times of Whitney Vowell. So Whitney, what do you do here at North Point?
Okay, yep. I am at the Republic campus, and currently I am doing worship and connections. So it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. So now you've been at North Point how long now? Has it been a year and a half?
Year and a half.
Okay. Started at the Dream Center.
Started at the Dream Center.
And now you're here at Republic. And and tell us a little bit. You got a family.
I do.
I'm partial to them.
Yeah, they're great.
Fun. Who are they?
Okay, I've got Andy, my husband, and then Harper and Crosby are my two littles. So yeah, they're great.
Now Andy, he's in the funeral biz.
He is.
And so sometimes I get to see him at work, and we're both working, but we have like a little quick fun chit chat.
Yes.
In the middle of a work day, so it's kind of fun. So he's been doing that for tell us about this. You guys lived in a funeral home.
Okay, that is part of the story.
And if you haven't seen My Girl, spoiler alert, that's what it's about.
It's basically like My Girl.
Yes. Without the bee sting.
Without the bee stings.
Oh, my word.
We met in college. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
We
met in college. We got married, and he was working at the funeral home and lived in the apartment
Is
upstairs.
that what attracted you to him?
No.
Is the funeral home biz?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
But we lived upstairs for a year, and we would do like the night calls and work in the office, and that was it. That was our life for a year until we graduated. Yeah.
Okay, so now this is not a ghost episode, but have you ever in the middle of the night, like when you were living there, thought, oh boy, this is creepy?
I definitely had like thoughts about it, but nothing ever happened to make me like, on edge about it or whatever.
Like, would you have your milk? Would you have to go down to the morgue to get your milk?
I didn't have to. We did. Everything was upstairs that I needed. Okay, so after like 7 p.m., I wasn't going to leave.
Okay. I was just thinking because of the temperature and stuff. I don't know how it all works. But, okay. Well, great to have you on this. And so I want to go way back. So Whitney Vowell. So I'm going to guess or remember, if I remember this correctly, you're from Texas.
I am.
So did you start in Texas?
Yes. Born and raised.
Okay. Born and raised. So does that mean, so here's the thing about Texas. A lot of people I've met who are from Texas are very proud of that fact. Are you one of them?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, I love
Hook 'em
Texas.
Horns? Gig 'em Maggies?
My family is, Longhorns fans.
Okay.
So, and Cowboys.
Matthew McConaughey.
All the good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, so so you grew up there. Was it like, were you on a ranch?
So the town I grew up in was actually a dairy town, very small. It used to be the dairy capital of Texas. So like in front of my high school.
Oh, time out. Did it get taken over?
Like someone else. Yeah, I think they're coup? I think so. I think another town kind of got bigger and had more cows. So we were no longer the trophy winners.
Okay.
But yeah, two like giant, like 10-foot cows in front of my high school.
Okay.
I graduated in a rodeo arena.
Okay, two giant 10-foot cows.
Yeah.
From your high school.
In front of
statues?
Statues.
Or are those the fair?
No, it was just statues that were there year round. They would put Christmas wreaths on them at Christmas.
It was
like
so
festive.
A heifer festival, like princess.
We had the Dairy Festival.
Okay. Were you a Dairy Queen?
I was not the Dairy Queen. I never did, but there was a queen that was crowned. And there was Dairy Festival and then Cover Girl pageant. And the Cover Girl, they would have to like wrangle cows and pigs and like show that they could work on a farm if they wanted to win that crown.
Yeah.
It was intense.
So growing up, Whitney, were you like, man, one day I'm gonna be a cover girl and I'm gonna wrangle some cows?
No, I never. I was a marching band girl.
Okay,
so that's where I lived.
Clarinet, probably.
Drumline. I was on the drumline.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you grew up. Your family was in church, right?
Yep.
Pastor's family.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that in rural Texas.
Rural Texas.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
Dallas was probably the biggest city, and it was like 80 miles away. So if we wanted to do something big, we'd go to Dallas. But yeah, I grew up ministry family. My dad was a worship pastor. My grandpa was a pastor. He traveled. He lived in a bunch of different places. My mom grew up kind of everywhere. But they landed in Texas when she was in high school. And so at the church where she met my dad and all that fun stuff. So we grew up in that same church. And my dad led worship there for the longest time until he passed away, actually. And so it was just always a part of our family. We were always there. I was singing church specials at like 4 years old up there, while they're passing the offering plates.
The offertory.
Oh yeah,
like
I was
Sunday
singing.
night offertory, or
oh no, it was Sunday morning. I got prime time. Yeah,
okay.
I got prime time.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it was lots of fun. So I just grew up doing that, doing church choir, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And what kind of brought me to Springfield was BBC. My whole family went to Baptist Bible College, or Mission U, as they call it now.
Come on, Patriots.
So it was just kind of an written thing that I would probably go to Baptist Bible College since the whole family did.
Okay, so now brothers, sisters, are you the oldest?
I'm the youngest of three, and then I have two step siblings, and every single one of us went to BBC.
Wow.
So,
You got like a punch card? How does that work?
I wish. I know. Maybe pay off my loans or something.
So, so BBC, was that your first, so right out of high school?
Right out of high school, yeah.
Okay.
Had summer break and then moved up here at 18.
Okay, so now tell us a little bit about like high school Whitney, because a lot of North Pointers know you as worship leader, connections pastor. Were you always like wanting to follow like that track? Were you when was your relationship with Jesus like very important to you? Did you have what would that
I
look
struggled a lot. We talk about the Enneagram a lot here, and I'm a 6 on that. So I had a lot of questions when it came to like faith and doubt.
Yeah.
Struggled with it my whole childhood. I would just, always be on edge about what if something happens? What if something goes wrong? I had a lot of questions. And I would say when my dad passed is when those questions really started to spiral. And I really struggled with my faith. I didn't know really what I believed, and I didn't really know why God would allow something like that to happen.
How old were you at the
I was
time?
14.
14.
And it was
a sudden situation?
Sudden, yes, a car accident. So super unexpected. It was just really a tough time in my life. I would say high school Whitney, I am not her anymore, but she had a lot going on in her life. And I feel for her when I look back at her, But we made it through. I would say, growing up in church, I always joke with Andy, I got baptized like 4 times as a child because I was just always like doubting my faith. And so I came up here to school and that's when I really feel like my relationship with Jesus started to change, is when I started to kind of figure out that it was okay to have questions and it was okay to ask them. And I don't know, I kind of grew up in a bubble where you didn't ask questions. It was just, this is kind of what it is. And I never really thought that ministry per se would be kind of in my path just because of how I grew up. It was just kind of, ladies don't do that, you can happily serve, but being in a leadership role was kind of like probably not going to happen for me. And so it was tough because I felt like I had this calling in my life, but didn't know how to pursue it or where I fit in. And so it was just kind of a struggle, I would say, through high school. Yeah.
Okay, so a couple questions. I want to get to the word calling and what that means to you. But I'm thinking of like your mom. all of a sudden now being a single parent with three kids. What are some of the things, you said you guys got through it. What were some of the things that were meaningful for your family to help you get through it during that time?
Our church family, oh my gosh, they cared for us so much. I can remember there was one time we grew up in like a small little house, and it was needing to be repainted. They came over, our whole church came and repainted that church, or the house for us. At one point we were getting ready to move. They came and moved our entire house for us, like in one day. They just showered us with love, and I would say community. It's the best. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so then you come out to college, you start thinking this sense of calling. What does calling mean to you?
Yeah.
Because I know that's a word that so many people probably are familiar with the word. How did you define it?
Yeah. I would define it as I felt this. I don't want to use the word desire either, because I feel like that's kind of churchy too, you know? But I just always had this sense of, this is one, what I wanted to do. Two, I felt like I was pretty decent at it and that God gave me the ability to do it. And so I had just always kind of run with that. I would say for calling, it's just, I don't know. I just kind of feel it here in my heart is what I would say.
Yeah. So when you were at Mission U or BBC at the time, what were the things that you were involved in that helped develop that sense of your talents that were used for ministry, that sense of purpose? What were the things that you got involved in?
Yeah, I traveled on their recruiting team for the worship team. And I would say that those 3 years I did that were the biggest pointers to I enjoy doing this.
So you traveled on behalf of BBC recruiting for the school.
I did.
Do you go to local Walmarts? What do you do?
No, actually, I feel like I did sing at a Walmart one time. No, we traveled during the summer to different summer camps, and we would be the worship team for that. And then we would, have our little booth, and when students were interested, we'd try to recruit them and all that stuff. So I did that for 3 years until I got married, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so where did you meet Andy then?
Okay, we met at church.
Springfield or Texas?
In Springfield.
Okay.
Andy's from Oklahoma, so he's
a big Oklahoma City Thunder guy.
He is.
Which I've got an issue, not with Andy, just his team, because they're from Seattle.
Yeah, they are.
And I can't stand the Thunder because I love the Sonics.
I get it.
That's all right.
I get it. Yeah, he came up a year. We're the same age, but he came up a year after me. He attended OU and then came to BBC.
Are you trying to say he did a grade twice?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which
did.
one? Does he have a favorite grade?
I guess it would be his freshman year of college, since he had to repeat that one.
Okay. Well, that's a good one, though.
Credits didn't transfer, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But
so he comes over to BBC. You see him in the cafeteria. You see him in chapel.
He saw
Is it
me.
Guys section, girls section at BBC? I don't know how that works.
It's actually not. You can't hold hands on campus.
No.
Obviously.
No. However, Kearney Street, just across the way, gives you plenty of chances for PDA.
Yes. No, I actually, so the drummer of said worship team I traveled with was his roommate. And he's the one that kind of set us up and introduced us. So.
Okay. Do they have I know they probably don't have dances there. I went to a Bible college, probably very similar. Do they have banquets or?
Yes. They had a banquet. It was kind of Sadie Hawkins-esque.
Yes.
So Andy is a very, he loves puzzles, crosswords.
Okay.
So
Wordle? Is he a Wordle guy?
He's a Wordle guy. Connections, is that the other one that's big right now, I think?
You know what? I'm behind. I just found out about Wordle and Words with Friends.
Yes, so, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
But he's big puzzle guy, so I took a 100-piece puzzle from Walmart and I painted it over it, and I made a "Will you go to Sadie Hawkins with me?" and you had to put the puzzle together. So
that was
a
great idea.
Yeah.
Man, so if you're looking for a promposal, if you're looking for, that's a great
one.
Make
it work for it, yep.
Wow, but you defaced a puzzle.
I did.
Yeah?
It was like a children's puzzle. It's fine.
Okay, that's good. And so then, was it oh man, you guys hit it off right away? And when did you get married?
We did. We hit it off pretty well. We, I think, had a lot of similar interests, that kind of stuff.
Is he a music guy as well?
He's a music guy as well. He loves So it's funny because I grew up pretty conservative. So like my kind of music was like Southern gospel. So what I was
Like,
raised
do you have
on.
some? I mean, throw that out because I believe in our Riff Raff we have a lot of SoGo fans.
We got Knee Gaither people out there. Shout out.
I grew up with Bill Gaither and Bill Gother. Either way.
Yes.
Either way.
So that was kind of my roots, like kind of only Christian music.
Mark Lowry. Not
Guy
only
Penrod.
could he make you laugh, he could make you cry when he hits those notes.
Yes. It's so funny.
Okay, for those of you who are still listening, because we went on SoGo. So that was your background. What was his? Is his a little bit more dark?
No, not dark, but he grew up in church, but not as many rules, I would say, when it came to what you could and couldn't do kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so now how did he go to BBC? Was he same type of a church denomination?
Yeah, he was in the BBF church and kind of the same thing. He had gone to OU for a year and he just kind of felt like this wasn't it for him. Yeah. And he had known about, BBC through his church and stuff. So he was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a year, go up there, see what happens, see kind of what I feel. And then we met and that was it. We dated for about a year and then we're engaged for close to a year and got married and graduated. Stayed in Springfield. Yeah, he came on at the funeral home. And so that's what's kind of kept us here. And we pretty much feel like our roots are here now, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so now tell us a little bit about your connection to North Point and how that journey started.
Yeah. So I had been working at another church. It's a funny story. So it's kind of long, so bear with me, Riff Raff.
Yeah.
But so when I came up for college, I started attending a church here in Springfield, and I was there until I guess a year and a half ago.
It's not North Point.
Not
I know
North
that.
Point.
So you had an issue
but
with
it's coming.
The pastor?
It's coming. So I was there and I at that point met Grady and Amy Pence. They had come to the church.
Love Grady and Amy.
Yes.
They were on the team a couple different seasons at North Point.
Amazing people. I love them so much. But I met them.
How did you know them?
So he came on as a worship intern.
That's right.
And he was kind of, leading the charge into making the service more modern, that kind of stuff. And that's where I kind of started thinking this is like something I really like watching and learning and that kind of stuff. And Grady and Amy, I would say, are the first people that really, I feel like, saw that in me in my life. And I credit a lot of just my journey to them because they are just amazing people. But I started kind of learning underneath Grady kind of what worship was, how to just, make tracks, all the little things that go into a Sunday service. And they just became really great friends. Yeah. And, the first time they went to Arizona, I started taking over the worship after him. And so did that for a few years, but knew about North Point through them. And they always just talked about how much they loved it. And I was like, you know what? If there's ever an opportunity for me there, this seems like the place I want to be, where I want my family to be. And sure enough, a year and a half ago, it happened.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful for it.
That's awesome. And you came in, you were doing worship from day one, and I just know this to be true about you is you have such a gift of leading worship, and what I mean when I say that is just an ability to connect with Jesus. And do it in a way where it makes it easy for those of us in the room to connect with Jesus. And just this sense of, and I know that God's presence is everywhere. Right. I believe in his omnipresent attribute. But at the same time, there's this sense of an experience. And as you lead worship, it's felt. And I really appreciate that. I'm so thankful that we've had so many of our North Pointers be able to experience that with your leadership there. And so yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Yes,
so,
it's been fun.
So what have you learned about you in your time at North Point?
Oh man, I have learned, I think the biggest thing for me is I've learned that I'm not trying to toot my own horn.
No.
So please know that that's not what I'm getting at.
Toot away.
Okay. I've learned that I'm actually good at what I do. I think for the longest time I had imposter syndrome of not feeling like I belonged. And here I feel that. I feel like I have a purpose. I feel like I fit in. I feel like, I'm here for a reason. And that's been the biggest thing. the biggest growth in my life, at least. So
that's awesome. Okay, so with 2 kids, your kids are, how old are they?
Harper is 8 and Crosby's 5.
Okay. So you grew up, you've been growing up in the church world for ever, but different seasons where more probably rigid expectations, maybe some loose expectations. You've seen it all. How has that impacted how you want to parent your kids?
Oh man, you know what's funny is the other day we were at home and we were just, I don't even know what we were talking about. Usually every Sunday after church, I'm like, what'd you learn about in Kid Point? And they'll tell me. And we started singing, this is going to sound bad. We started singing Jesus Loves Me. And Harper didn't know that song. She was like, I've never heard this song before. And I partly felt like a bad parent, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, like I never taught her the song Jesus Loves Me. Like, what kind of Christian am I? And then the second part of me was like, oh my goodness, like there's a lot of things that I felt like, I'm trying to find like the best way to explain it. A lot of little things in my childhood that I felt like were just so like ingrained, and this was just part of the culture, and this is what you do, and this is what you can and can't do, and just all those type of things. And I just love that it wasn't like an expectation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay, well now she needs to learn the song. So we've been working on it. But I think for me, it's just, it's okay to come as you are to church. Yeah. It's okay that you have questions. And she just got saved and baptized last year. And so I feel like the questions are kind of starting to come. But for the most part, she's awesome, man. She's just like loving life, and she doesn't have a care in the world, which was my prayer, was that I hope I raise her to just know that God loves her, and that if she follows him and loves him, like that is what I want. I don't want any of that churchy legalistic stuff for her. So it's been good.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I feel like as I hear your story and I think back, if we went back to 14-year-old Whitney in the next few years, you said earlier in this conversation, you're like, I feel bad for her, or what did she need? Like if you were to go back as a mentor to her, what did she need from you?
I think she needed to know that what she was feeling was okay.
Yeah.
That it was normal, that it was gonna be okay. There were a lot of times where I felt like I just didn't know, what the next day was gonna hold. It was just super dark. I wish I would have had somebody, that would maybe speak life into me. I didn't really have that. So.
Yeah. Well, I know that you've done a lot of work, both you and Andy, with our junior high school students. And I know we have a lot of volunteers across the campuses who do that, or Kid Point volunteers. And I often say when I see those Kid Point volunteer shirts, those are my favorite shirts at North Point, even though we got some great merch. Mm-hmm. My favorite ones are ones where I know they're serving a family life. Not because it's a different level of serving. It's just such a critical time for kids.
Yeah.
And at North Point, we don't want to assume they have Thursday night devotional night at home, or that they know all the songs, or even all the stories. So we feel like, okay, how can we as volunteers and staff create an opportunity where they're reminded they're loved, that they're seen, they're known, that they find Jesus right there, that they have a friend who reminds them, a leader who reminds them that it's going to be all right. And man, it's just crazy to think through on any given weekend what people are going through. Reading those cards, my goodness, people are going through a lot. Mm-hmm. And so, what are some of the things about North Point's mission that are important to you that you would say, okay, make sure we'd never change this. Okay. So you're in charge of everything at North Point here for the next few minutes. What are the things that you say, don't change this?
Oh man. Okay. The safe place. I feel like I can say confidently that North Point is truly a safe place to be. There's a lot of times growing up in church that it didn't feel safe. And to, like I said earlier, to ask questions, to be yourself. And I love that about North Point, that you can come as you are and you can ask those questions and you can, I don't know, just experience it that way. I love that we don't have an expectation of the people that come through our doors. I would never want to put an expectation on anybody because, like you said, like, you just don't know what people are going through or what their past experience has been.
Yeah.
And so those are the two things I would never change.
Okay, so we're gonna play a little game. It's gonna be rapid fire questions and answers with Whitney. Okay, you ready for a game?
Yeah.
Favorite Christian musician right now?
Right now, Maverick City.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Favorite mainstream musician or band?
Oh, that's tough. Okay, so it's tough because my husband and I are big like classic rock people, so we wouldn't really listen to anything new. But
Are you a T Swift fan?
My daughter is, and she's kind of turned me into one.
No. Are you a T Swift fan?
I respect it.
Did you go to the movie?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you like Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Okay, so you're a T Swift fan.
America's Sweethearts. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So what are some favorite classic rock?
Led Zeppelin's our favorite.
Okay.
The Beatles, classic, can't go wrong. Those are two big ones, I would say.
Okay. If you can vacation anywhere, where do you go?
Disney World.
Okay. Favorite staff member at North Point?
Favorite staff member at North Point? I can't choose one.
Yeah, you got to. No, that's part of the riff.
Okay, shout out to Andy Thornton.
Second.
This is tough.
I know. I'm just trying to see how long I get to me.
Oh, Jeremy Johnson.
Okay.
Of course.
Least favorite staff member?
I'm not going to answer that.
You have to.
Nope.
Is it because Justin's listening right now?
No, he's not. He's not my least favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Is he bottom 5?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, favorite restaurant to go on a date in the Springfield metro area?
Oh, easy. I love Jim's Steakhouse and Pub.
With 2 M's. Jim's with 2 M's.
With 2 M's, yeah.
Okay, so when you go steakhouse and pub, okay, do you prefer which side?
Steakhouse, of course.
Okay. Because I was like, BBC, come on now.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Jim's, did you know if you order before 5 o'clock, by 4:45 is the cutoff, there is a 3-course dinner for a special price.
Did not know that.
I love it. I love it. It is awesome.
I like their salad bar. They got a great salad bar.
Is it the frozen plates?
Yeah.
Oh my word.
They're doing
Sometimes
it right.
I have to fog up my plate just to warm them, thaw them off.
It's
right?
so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, it's really good. Okay, I like that a lot. Are you a big Andy's fan?
Yes, love Andy's.
Okay. Do you ever try Culver's?
I mean, I've tried it, but I like Andy's better.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Springfield sport team?
Not a big sports person.
Okay.
So.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's fine. Do you have a favorite person you've gone and seen at the Galois?
The Galois. I got to see B.B. King at the Galois before he passed away. And
I didn't know he passed.
Yeah.
Give me a moment. Okay, fine.
So that was cool. He played his Lucille, his like original guitar. It was so cool.
That's the name of his guitar. Do you name your guitar?
I don't play guitar.
Okay,
no.
If you were to lead, okay, so let's say we're having a gathering tonight and we just told you and we said, okay, Whitney, you lead one song at the gathering, any song you want, what's your go-to?
Okay, my favorite song that we do at North Point.
No, it's any song. Any song you want to lead. It could be it could be that.
Do I say Jesus Loves Me? Do I circle back to that?
I would say that's duplicity because your daughter doesn't even know. She's never heard you say it. So.
I know, right? Okay, my favorite worship song that I lead is King of Kings. That's my favorite.
King of Kings. I don't know that I know that one. Give us a little.
Okay, so I'm not gonna sing it, but
no one's ever sang on the riff. You could be the first ever.
First, no, I love it because it tells the gospel story by each verse. In the darkness, we were waiting without hope, without light. Verse 2, it goes into
I don't
his
get
sacrifice.
it without that. I'm more of a melody person.
Yeah, I know. King of Kings by Hillsong Worship.
Okay.
We'll Spotify it.
Okay, we'll put it in the show notes.
Put it in the show notes, but I just love it.
Along with Jesus Loves Me.
Along with Jesus Loves Me. That's our Easter special, Jesus Loves Me.
Okay.
So
I like it. I like it. I like it. We are thrilled to have you on this team. Your family they're life givers.
Thank you.
Whether it's your kids, Andy, yourself, wherever it is, whether it's a weekend, whether it's at a staff meeting, whatever. We just love the Vowells. So glad to have you on the team.
We're so happy to be here.
Good. Well, we just wanted everybody here at our Riff Nation to know you if they hadn't already. Again, if you haven't been to the Republic campus, go check out the Republic campus.
Come check it out. It's a fun time.
Yeah. So we're thrilled about that. Whitney leads worship out there, and obviously connections there as we talked about. But Whitney, thanks for being on this team, and thanks for leaning into your gifts and then using your gifts in a way that makes an impact in this community. We love that.
Thank you.
So, very cool.
Love being here.
Well, Riff, thanks for listening to another episode of the Riff. I hope next time you see Whitney, you give her a big shout out, even if you don't know her. Hey, if you're looking, how do I hook up the Vowell family? I think we all know now it's a Jim's gift card. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hey, have a great week. We'll talk to you next Monday when we drop.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Riff. We'll have a brand new episode every week, wherever you find podcasts.